Hello there.
Hello.
So just to let everyone know, I had a bit of technical difficulty and everything fine here now, but yes, here we are at the EFA's first flute conversations, and I'm here with Samantha Hunt. My name is Zoe Hunt. I'm Director of Communications. That's kind of funny. Having technical difficulties, right? Okay. Anyway, we're here to talk about all things flute. Sam is also on the board of the Edmonton Flute Association as the secretary, and she is part of the military band in Edmonton as well. So just a couple of questions for you. How did you come to play the flute?
So I started in grade 4 band, just regular band program, and flute was actually my last preference. I actually wanted to play the saxophone first, and then clarinet, and then flute. So I got kind of stuck with the flute, as I thought back then.
Right.
But today seems like it was a good choice.
Indeed, because
Yeah.
you're in the Edmonton military band, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
and how many military bands does Canada have?
So there's 6 full-time bands in the country, and they've got between like 30 and 35 people in each one. And yeah, so there's only two flute spots per band.
Good. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what is your practice routine?
Well, it's definitely not as structured as it should be, probably. But so I like to start these days just like noodling around, see how it feels. Some arpeggios, little chromatic scales, just something to get myself moving along.
Right.
And then I like to play something familiar. It's usually like French music or Bach partita. I also like to play the Bach cello suites. Amy Porter has like a nice version of those for flute. So those are nice little warm-up things.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Those are great things. What is the best thing in your view that you've ever learned from a mentor or a teacher or someone?
To be organized and be prepared, to as best you can.
Okay.
In my lessons and stuff, we used to have to write down each week, like our goals, what we were working on, what we wanted to work on in the future, things that were difficult. It was just like a very structured routine to get into. So it kind of taught me to be organized and prepared for everything.
Definitely. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So would it be just a regular scribbler kind of thing, and then you'd have goals, your scales, what things you want to work on per week?
Yeah, actually they were called she called them lesson cards. You just bring like your lesson card, and then you could give it to her, and
nice.
This is what we're going to do today. This is what, and we didn't have to stick to it exactly. It was just it was a good guideline as to what you're working on and the issues and all that stuff.
That's a great idea, and then it would put in perspective things that you needed to learn and things that you have already learned and maybe don't need to work on as much, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and it like keeps you responsible, right? Keeps you puts the responsibility on you as the student to be organized,
Exactly.
So I took that.
Flute music, and what is your favorite music to practice with?
So I'm definitely a fan of French romantic music. And I do really like playing like the cello suites and the Bach partita. I really love those. But mostly like French or romantic kind of music is definitely definitely my wheelhouse for sure.
What is it about that you enjoy?
I don't know. It's got a lot in it. It's got a lot of emotion. There's lots of technical stuff. It's a very good balance between like easy and hard. It's got kind of just everything usually.
Excellent. Okay. Are there
Hmm.
any cool tips or tricks that you've learned throughout your flute journey that you'd like to share with us?
Yes. um, that being a good faker is often very beneficial. Um, Not to say to not be prepared. Obviously, you prepare and do the best you can for performance or for
Right.
whatever it is. Um, but sometimes things don't go as planned, and uh, it's a good skill to be able to do that if you're struggling with a passage, or just keep trucking on, keep trucking on through,
So
and
how would you
yeah, it's kind of a skill.
mentally prepare? Like, how would you mentally fake it? Would you say, okay, this is in A major, so any notes in A major in this passage, since I didn't do that passage properly, I can just kind of fake it?
Yeah, something like that. If it's like, yeah, if it's like a technical thing, or I don't know, if you've played a series of wrong notes, not, it doesn't have to be something fast necessarily,
Right.
but yeah, but if I feel like if you know the piece or whatever you're doing well enough, um, that you can still manage your
Budget
way through
a
something
little.
that yeah, something that could just be difficult, or that you've struggled with, or just has the potential to be messed up in
Okay.
in a performance with
Right.
nerves and all that,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Okay, tell us something about yourself that most people don't know.
Well, I used to be a dancer for it was about 11 years when I was younger, um, tap dancing specifically. uh,
Cool.
but I did give that up to continue music. uh,
Right.
but yeah, it was a huge part of my life. I definitely miss it for
Right.
sure.
Would you
Yeah.
ever combine the two together?
I probably should. It'd be hilarious. Some like Pied Piper situation.
Good. Nice. Thank
Yeah,
you. Thank you. Um, yeah, that's basically all we have for you today.
sure.
Before we sign off, I'd like to acknowledge the support of the province of Alberta and the Alberta Foundation for the Arts.